Good evening, my astute observers of power. Are you unwittingly exposing yourself to the wolves of this world? Do you sense that others exploit your vulnerabilities, leaving you diminished in the grand game of influence? Fear not, for tonight we unravel the 3 critical weaknesses that mark you as a target, and more crucially, how to forge them into strengths. In the spirit of Niccolò Machiavelli, we shall arm you with the cunning to secure your dominion. Let us begin. Picture this, a battlefield, smoke curling through the air, armies poised, waiting for a single command to charge or retreat. Yet the commander stands frozen, his mind a storm of doubt, unable to choose. What happens? His hesitation ripples outward, sowing confusion among his troops, emboldening his enemies. In moments, his forces are scattered, his banner trampled. This, my friends, is the cost of indecision. It is the crack in your armor that invites the dagger. As Machiavelli himself declares in his timeless counsel, fortune is a woman, and she yields only to those who seize her with unrelenting force. To waver is to signal to the world that you lack the spine to shape your destiny. It paints a target on your back, whispering to others that you are weak, malleable, a pawn to be moved by stronger hands. Now let us turn to the second weakness, one that has toppled empires and broken the mightiest of men, excessive trust. To trust blindly is to hand your enemies a blade and invite them to strike. Machiavelli, that keen observer of human nature, warns us that men are fickle, driven by self-interest, and will betray you the moment it serves their purpose. Picture a prince who opens his heart to all, believing in the goodness of those around him. His advisors smile, his allies nod, but behind their masks they plot. They see his trust as a door left ajar, a fortress undefended. In this world, naivety is not a virtue, it is a death sentence. The man who trusts too easily becomes a target, manipulated by those who wear loyalty as a disguise while pursuing their own ends. Imagine a merchant who entrusts his wealth to a partner without question, believing their shared history ensures fidelity. But when profits soar, that partner siphons the gold, leaving the merchant destitute. Or consider a leader who shares his plans openly, assuming his counsel is united in purpose. One among them, hungry for power, leaks his secrets to a rival and his ambitions crumble. Excessive trust is a siren song, luring you to ruin with promises of camaraderie. Machiavelli knew this truth. Men are not angels. They are creatures of ambition, envy, and deceit. To assume otherwise is to invite the wolf into your home, mistaking it for a loyal hound. Why do we fall into this trap? Often, it is the desire to be liked, to believe in the bonds we forge. We crave connection, and trust feels like the glue that binds us. But Machiavelli counsels a harsher truth. Trust must be earned, not given. The world is a stage of actors, and not all play the part they profess. The naive man sees a friend where a foe stands, and that blindness makes him prey. To fix this weakness, you must become a master of discernment, a prince who sees through the masks of others and guards his own intentions with iron resolve. How do you forge this strength? Begin by testing those around you. Do not confront or accuse. Such bluntness is the mark of a fool. Instead, observe, offer small confidences, unimportant secrets, and watch how they are handled. Does your ally keep your words close, or do they spread like wildfire? Create subtle trials, assign a task, and see if it is fulfilled with loyalty or twisted to serve another's gain. Machiavelli advises that a prince must be a fox, sniffing out traps before they spring. Let your allies prove their worth through actions, not words, for words are cheap and easily feigned. Next, veil your own heart. Share only what serves your purpose, and keep your true plans locked within. When you must confide, do so sparingly, and only with those who have passed your tests. Even then, maintain a shadow of doubt, for loyalty can shift like sand. Consider Machiavelli's own example. He praised Cesare Borgia, who trusted sparingly and acted with ruthless precision. When Borgia needed loyalty, he secured it through fear and reward, not blind faith. You need not be so severe, but adopt his cunning. Let others wonder at your intentions, for mystery is a shield against betrayal. Practice this art daily. When a colleague offers flattery, question their motive. When a friend promises aid, weigh their past actions. Trust is not forbidden, but it must be a fortress, not a flimsy gate. Surround yourself with those who have proven their worth, and even then, keep a watchful eye. The world respects a man who is cautious, for he is not easily undone. By shedding excessive trust, you transform from a lamb among lions into a lion yourself, one whose roar keeps predators at bay. Consider the man who hesitates in the council chamber, torn between appeasing a rival or asserting his will. His silence, his furrowed brow, his half-spoken words, they betray him. Those around him, sharp, pied and hungry for power, see his indecision as an opportunity. They step into the void he leaves, making choices for him, bending him to their ends. Or think of the merchant who cannot decide whether to invest or hold back, paralyzed by fear of loss. While he dithers, his competitors act, seizing markets, claiming profits, leaving him to scrape the dregs. Indecision is not just a personal failing. It is a public proclamation of vulnerability. It tells the world you are not a leader but a follower, not a prince but a puppet. Why does indecision grip us? Often it stems from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. We crave certainty, a perfect path laid before us. But let me share a truth Machiavelli knew well. Perfection is a myth. The world is chaos, a swirling tempest of chance and ambition. Waiting for the ideal moment or the flawless plan is like waiting for the stars to align while your enemies sharpen their blades. Fortune does not reward the cautious, she rewards the bold. The man who acts, even imperfectly, shapes the world to his will, while the hesitant are shaped by it. So, how do you banish this weakness? First, train your mind to embrace clarity. Indecision thrives in a fog of confusion, so sharpen your understanding of the stakes. Study your circumstances. Know your allies, your enemies, your resources. Gather knowledge swiftly, but do not drown in it. Machiavelli advises that a prince must be both lion and fox, fierce yet cunning. Be the fox here, assess the terrain, but do not linger. Set a deadline for your decisions, for time is a predator that waits for no one. If you must choose between two paths and both seem fraught, pick one and commit with every fiber of your being. Half measures are the hallmark of the weak. Next, cultivate conviction. A decision once made must be wielded like a sword. Doubt may linger in your heart, but never let it show in your actions. Stand tall, speak with authority, and let your resolve silence those who would question you. Consider the great princes of history. Machiavelli's own Cesare Borgia, who, when faced with rebellion, acted with such swift and ruthless precision that his enemies quailed. His decisiveness was his shield, his sword, his crown. You need not spill blood, but you must project that same unyielding certainty. When you decide, let it be as if the heavens themselves have decreed it. Practice is your ally, I hear. Start small, decide what to wear, where to dine, what task to tackle first, and do it without second guessing. Build the muscle of decisiveness, for it grows stronger with use. In time, you will find that choices come faster, clearer, and with greater impact. And when the moment comes to face a true test, a negotiation, a conflict, a gamble, your enemies will see not a man who wavers, but one who commands. They will hesitate, and in that moment you will strike. But beware, decisiveness does not mean recklessness. The reckless man leaps without looking, and Machiavelli scorns such fools as much as the indecisive. The key is balance. Act swiftly, but act informed. Seek counsel, but do not let it paralyze you. As Machiavelli writes, a prince must listen to advisors, but never be their servant. Weigh their words, then choose your path and own it. Let others marvel at your resolve, for a man who decides without doubt becomes a force that others dare not challenge. This is your first step to invincibility. Shed the paralysis of indecision, and you shed the target on your back. Act and let the world bend to your will. I am your guide, a disciple of the great Niccolò Machiavelli, whose wisdom pierces the veil of human folly. In a world where power is the currency of survival, weakness is an invitation to ruin. Men and women heed this. To be a target is to court destruction. Yet, the path to invincibility lies not in brute force, but in the subtle art of self-mastery. Tonight, I present 3 frailties that betray you to your foes, and the remedies to render you untouchable. Prepare to fortify your mind, for in the Game of Thrones, only the shrewd prevail. Now we arrive at the third and final weakness, lack of presence. A man who fades into the shadows invites others to trample him underfoot. Machiavelli teaches that a prince must be seen, feared, and admired. For those who lack presence are dismissed as inconsequential. Imagine a council chamber where lords and advisors gather, their voices sharp, their postures commanding. Among them sits a man who shrinks, speaks softly, and avoids attention. His ideas, however wise, are ignored. His presence, unremarkable, is forgotten. He is not a player in the game of power. He is a ghost, overlooked and overpowered. In this world, to be invisible is to be vulnerable. Those who do not assert their existence become targets for those who do. Presence is not mere loudness or arrogance. It is the art of commanding attention, of making your existence undeniable. Machiavelli knew this well. A prince must be a lion, radiating strength, and a fox, cunning in how he projects it. Without presence, you are a shadow, easily swept aside by those who shine brighter. Consider the merchant who enters a negotiation but speaks timidly, his eyes downcast, his words uncertain. His rivals sense his weakness and press their advantage, securing terms that crush him. Or picture a leader who avoids the spotlight, letting others claim credit for his work. His contributions fade, and with them his influence. Lack of presence is a silent surrender, an invitation for others to dominate you. Why do we fall into this trap? Often, it is fear of scrutiny, of judgment, of standing out. We shrink to avoid conflict or criticism, believing humility will protect us. But Machiavelli scorns such timidity. Humility in the face of power is a chain, not a shield. The world respects those who demand respect, who fill a room with their conviction. To fix this weakness, you must learn to command attention, to project a presence that makes others pause and take note. Begin with your voice. Speak with authority, not arrogance. Let your words carry weight, delivered with clarity and purpose. Practice this in small moments. Order your coffee with confidence. Address a colleague with steady conviction. Your tone, your pace, your choice of words, these are tools to carve your place in the world. Stand tall, shoulders back, and meet eyes directly. Your posture is a silent declaration of strength. Machiavelli's prince does not slouch. He commands the space he occupies, whether in a palace or a marketplace. Next, let your actions speak. Presence is not just in words, but in deeds. Undertake tasks with purpose, whether leading a project or resolving a dispute. Let your work proclaim your worth. When Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's exemplar, entered a city, his every move was calculated to awe and intimidate. You need not conquer cities, but you must act with intention. Finish what you start, and let your results demand attention. A man whose deeds resonate needs no trumpet to announce him. Cultivate visibility. Seek opportunities to be seen. Speak at gatherings. Share your insights. Lead when others hesitate. But beware, presence is not bombast. The fool who shouts loudest is soon ignored. Instead, be deliberate. Choose moments to shine, and let your silence be as powerful as your speech. Machiavelli advises that a prince's actions must inspire both fear and admiration. Let your presence do the same. Be a force that others cannot ignore, yet one they respect rather than resent. Practice this daily. In every interaction, ask yourself, am I seen? Am I felt? Adjust your stance, your words, your gaze until the answer is yes. Over time, presence becomes instinct, a mantle you wear without effort. The world will shift around you, for a man who commands attention shapes his own destiny. Now we come to the fourth weakness, one that has undone many a would-be prince. Overreliance on mercy. To be overly merciful is to invite rebellion, for softness is seen as frailty in a world that respects strength. Machiavelli, that unflinching observer of power, declares that it is better to be feared than loved, for love is fickle, but fear endures. Picture a leader who spares every offender, forgives every slight, and offers clemency where punishment is due. His kindness is not praised, it is mocked. His subordinates grow bold, his rivals grow daring, and soon his authority crumbles. Mercy, when overused, paints a target on your back, signaling to all that you lack the resolve to enforce your will. Consider a captain who, after a betrayal, pardons his treacherous lieutenant, believing mercy will inspire loyalty. Instead, the lieutenant plots again, emboldened by the lack of consequences. Or imagine a merchant who forgives a partner's deceit, hoping to preserve peace. That partner, seeing no repercussions, steals again, draining the merchant's coffers. Overreliance on mercy is a siren's call, luring you to ruin with the illusion of goodwill. Machiavelli knew this truth. Men respect a leader who wields justice with an iron hand, not one who bends to sentiment. The soft-hearted prince is not a savior. He is a victim, exploited by those who mistake his kindness for weakness. Why do we cling to mercy? Often, it is the desire to be loved, to be seen as virtuous. We fear the loneliness of authority, believing that leniency will win allies. But Machiavelli scorns this delusion. Men are not bound by gratitude, they are bound by self, Finterest. A prince who forgives too readily invites others to test his limits, each transgression eroding his power. To fix this weakness, you must learn to balance mercy with severity, to be a ruler who inspires both fear and respect. Begin by setting clear boundaries. Let it be known what you will tolerate and what you will not. When those boundaries are crossed, act decisively. Punishment need not be cruel, but it must be certain. If a colleague undermines you, address it firmly. Perhaps a public correction or a reassignment that stings. If a friend betrays your trust, distance yourself, showing that disloyalty has a cost. Machiavelli's exemplar, Cesare Borgia, was merciless when needed, executing traitors to secure his rule. You need not take lives, but you must take control. Let your actions teach others that crossing you brings consequences. Next, cultivate an aura of strength. Speak with authority when delivering judgment, and let your decisions carry weight. If you must show mercy, do so sparingly and strategically. Let it be a calculated gift, not a default. For example, pardon a minor offense to win loyalty, but only after ensuring the offender knows your power. Machiavelli advises that a prince's mercy must never weaken his grip on authority. When you act, let it be clear that you choose mercy, not that you are compelled to it. Practice this in daily life. When someone oversteps, correct them firmly but fairly. If a coworker misses a deadline, don't excuse it with a smile. Set expectations for improvement. If a friend takes advantage, call it out, not with anger, but with calm resolve. Over time, you'll build a reputation as one who is just but unyielding. Others will hesitate to test you, knowing your softness has limits. Finally, study those around you. Who respects your authority and who probes for weakness? Watch for those who take advantage of your kindness and adjust your approach. A prince, as Machiavelli counsels, must be both lion and fox, fierce in enforcing his will, cunning in choosing when to show leniency. By mastering this balance, you transform from a target of exploitation into a ruler who commands obedience. Now we arrive at the fifth weakness, one that has toppled even the mightiest who cling to outdated ways: failure to adapt. In a world that shifts like sand beneath your feet, rigidity is a death sentence. Machiavelli, that master of navigating fortune's whims, teaches that a prince must bend with the times or be broken by them. Picture a general who fights every battle with the same tired tactics, ignoring new weapons, new terrains. His enemies, agile and inventive, outmaneuver him and his army falls. So it is in life. The man who clings to old methods, who refuses to evolve, becomes a target for those who embrace change. His predictability is his undoing, a map handed to foes who adapt faster. Imagine a merchant who insists on bartering in a world of digital trade. His competitors embrace new markets, new tools, and leave him bankrupt in their wake. Or consider a leader who governs as his father did, blind to shifting loyalties and rising threats. His rivals, sensing his inflexibility, exploit his outdated ways, undermining him at every turn. Failure to adapt is not just a personal flaw, it is a public declaration of obsolescence. Machiavelli knew this. Fortune is a river, and those who do not build dams or redirect its flow are swept away. The rigid man is a relic, easily outwitted by those who move with the current. Why do we resist adaptation? Often it is comfort, the lure of the familiar. We cling to what worked before, fearing the uncertainty of change. Or it is pride, believing our ways are superior, our knowledge complete. But Machiavelli scorns such folly. The world cares not for your nostalgia or your ego. It rewards those who mold themselves to its demands. To fix this weakness, you must become a student of change, a prince who reads the winds and shifts his sails accordingly. Begin by observing the world around you. Study your environment, new trends, new players, new threats. What worked yesterday may fail tomorrow. If you lead a team, notice how their needs evolve. If you trade, track shifts in markets. Machiavelli's prince is a fox sniffing out opportunities and dangers. Be that fox. Seek knowledge relentlessly, not to hoard but to apply. Read, listen, question. What are your rivals doing differently? What tools are they wielding? Adaptation begins with awareness, and awareness comes from curiosity. Next, embrace experimentation. Test new approaches in small ways. If you're a speaker, try a new style. If you're a strategist, test a fresh tactic. Failure is a teacher, not a master. Learn from it and adjust. Machiavelli praised Cesare Borgia for his ability to shift alliances and strategies as circumstances demanded. You need not scheme like Borgia, but adopt his flexibility. When a plan falters, pivot without hesitation. Let others cling to sinking ships while you build a new fleet. Finally, shed the fear of change. It is not betrayal of your past, but loyalty to your future. Practice adaptability in daily life. If a routine fails, revise it. If a colleague suggests a new method, try it. Over time, flexibility becomes instinct, and you become a force that others struggle to predict. The world respects a man who evolves, for he is never caught off guard. My astute disciples, the world is a crucible where only the fortified endure. You have seen the 5 weaknesses that mark you as prey. Indecision, which paralyzes, excessive trust, which invites betrayal, lack of presence, which renders you invisible, overreliance on mercy, which emboldens defiance, and failure to adapt, which leaves you obsolete. But you are no longer the hunted. Armed with Machiavelli's wisdom, you now wield the tools to become the hunter. Act with unwavering resolve. Guard your trust with cunning. Project a presence that commands awe. Temper mercy with strength, and bend with the winds of change. These are not mere lessons. They are the armor and blade of a prince. Go forth, not as a target, but as a sovereign of your destiny, a force that shapes the world to your will. Let none dare challenge your dominion, for you are now forged in the fire of Machiavelli's truth.